Hello everyone, and welcome to Unboxing 9 to 5. This is a podcast series where I aim to address the unspoken, the quick inner workings of the 9 to 5 lifestyle, which we typically spend 10 years of our life on. So, for me personally, I feel like it's pretty much important to address how we are functioning around it, what are the latest trends. Today, we will be talking about gig economy, sort of striking a balance and exploring how side hustles basically work. So, first, I'll try to set the stage by understanding and letting you guys know what gig economy is all about. What are gigs? So, for typically someone who may not know, it's making sure that your talent meets the right opportunity but at your own terms. Yeah, you either freelance, you work as a contractual employee, you start something of your own. All of that comes under this one bracket. Today, I am having a conversation with Nishant. Hi, Nishant.
Hi Vidika.
So, Nishant has been my colleague during my time at Bain, and he is also a proud founder of Bluebird. Let's actually get Nishant to introduce himself.
Yep. Thank you, Vidika, first of all, for having me here on your podcast. To introduce myself, I'm Nishant Kejriwal from. I come from Assam. I've done my MBA and now I'm working at Bain currently for last 5 years. I've also started my own venture called Bluebird about 2 years ago, which I'm trying to build as my side hustle gradually, which we'll talk about more maybe in this podcast.
Yes. That's awesome actually, and I really appreciate people who are burning candles on both hands. It's not very easy, but I think there's a unique kick to it. So I think that's what gets us all going. Nishant, we are actually gonna start with connection before content. So connection before content is typically just an icebreaker, but I saw someone using this somewhere, and I was like, yes, like that actually does make more sense. So I am gonna make you play this quick game of never ever, never have I ever, and I'm just gonna ask you some questions. So I'm gonna shoot now. So, never have I ever taken on a freelance project without fully understanding the scope of work.
Well, I have.
I think we all are guilty around it. What was your driving force when you did that?
So for me, since I've into my venture, there's a huge learning curve. I mean, I never learned e-commerce or brand building. That's not my background.
Right.
Even education is like more theoretical. Then also my work at Bain is not on the same lines. So it was a huge learning curve. So it was just biting the bullet and learning as I go. So I just jumped into it without knowing anything about it, to be honest.
Right. And how did it turn out? Was it a positive thing that you did, or?
Till now positive, but if I talk about like bits and pieces of it, like doing tens of things while building my brand, some things have turned out to be positive, many have turned out to be negative as well. So it's a mix of.
Well, all ends well, so great. Okay, second, never have I ever juggled multiple freelance projects at once and felt overwhelmed by the workload.
Yes, I have. I'm guilty of this too.
I guess we all do it for the money.
Yeah, for the money and also to make things work or make things grow. Just experimenting, I think, with tens of things at once. Looking at opportunities and thinking that okay, this might work or that might work. So doing everything.
Yes, agreed. All right, next up is never have I ever experienced a significant financial setback due to the unpredictability of freelance work.
Well, I won't say huge financial setback, but financial setbacks, yes, definitely. When you put your money someplace and it doesn't give the result that you desire, so that's definitely a setback.
Agreed. I mean, You might have not faced this so much given that you're working at Bain, but
Yeah,
but
personally not.
yeah,
Personally not. But talking from business terms, definitely.
right. Definitely, I understand. Okay, next is never have I ever had to negotiate my rates for a freelance gig and felt uncomfortable doing so.
Well, I think I have been on the other side of the table, asking my the people or the agencies I work with to discount their rates. So I'm not sure if I should answer I have or I haven't for this one.
Right. I think it typically works both ways actually now that you put that narrative into it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely embarrassing, I would say. Although you are typically just asking for something which you deserve, like you are bringing those skills to the table, but somehow it's still like a little, I'll say, underrated.
Yep, true.
Yes. Okay, next is never have I ever used social media platforms to promote my freelance services and found it to be surprisingly effective.
And I think we all have used social media, so and trying to promote ourselves on social media in this digital age. So, yeah.
Right. Don't you think that, I mean, we kept on denying this, but somewhere or somehow we all have become creators of some sort?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because we absorb so much content day in, day out, I think we have somehow developed that instinct on what will look good and what will look bad, at least on social media, and trying to improvise our own everything that we put in. I mean, even if we are getting clicked, now we somehow remember what looks good on social media and will post like that, or maybe choose such background. So yeah, I think everyone is a creator now.
Yes, totally agree. Okay, last is never have I ever felt like my freelance work or side hustle was undervalued by clients or customers. I think everyone's been in this boat.
Yes, definitely it feels undervalued. But I think keep on improving is the key. Keep going and improving.
That's true. All right, one bonus surprise question, very random, but yes. What is the one song that you're hooked to right now?
Song, okay. I'm not a huge music person, to be honest. But I don't know. Can't remember anything. I'm totally not a music person, to be very honest.
Oh, okay. I'll once we are done with the episode, I'll try to get you hooked up to some good playlists. Hope that will help because music is like a good escape, definitely. All
Thank you
right.
for that.
So, yeah. So we'll get to the topic now. So, Nishant, why do you believe that everyone needs to take up a side hustle? Like it could be anything, but like what do you think that like the few benefits that it brings to the table?
Yep. So the first and foremost benefit I think is learning curve, because you get to learn so much when you do a side hustle. Uh, so it helps not only develop your practical technical skills. Like suppose if I'm running a venture, I have learned somewhat of designing in the process, or somewhat of digital marketing in the process. So that's one thing. Then also dealing with other people, like if I'm working with some freelance agencies or other, asking anyone to work with me to negotiate with them, or also to understand the human psychology. So it has helped a lot in developing many skills which I would not have been able to learn in my job, or also like or it might have come gradually or over time, right? But it has accelerated my learning curve to a great extent in past 3 years by taking up a side hustle. So from a personal standpoint, I think that is a benefit that any person can derive from having a side hustle.
Hmm.
Other than that, because I think having multiple skills is very important in today's dynamic world, and even the competitive corporate world. You need
Right.
to understand a lot of things and have a lot of skills. So it also provides you a safety net. If tomorrow you are switching your job, you can utilize your skills that you learned in your side hustle and use it to get another job at some other place. So it helps a lot in a personal journey, in your personal professional career.
Hmm.
So that's one huge thing. Apart from that, money is definitely one of the factor with so much inflation and everything around. You definitely need to make multiple sources of income. So that is another factor there. So yeah, these are a couple of factors to start with.
Hmm. Right. Yes, totally agree on all of those, especially like the learning curve thing that you said. Just like having a side hustle, I mean, it takes time, things take time, that's for sure. But it just provides you so much, sort of, like it elevates your skill set. Because, like, if you're doing a job, like, your role is not that dynamic at the end. But if you're doing your own hustle, or if you're working, at different places, freelancing, it just provides you like so much to learn, and just like very rapidly it's changing. So yes, that's definitely true. All right, so like I'm gonna move on to this question that I'm more excited, very much excited about, which is like, how did you start your venture at Bluebird? I personally love tea, so I was pretty like fascinated by the concept that you are trying to create here. But I also want to know that, like, how did you exactly begin with it, and what was your motive to get into the world of tea? And when I say begin with, like, how did you start? Because just thinking about something and then actually implementing or executing it's a difficult task. So I want to know about that.
Okay, so if I want to get into very nitty-gritty details of it, so it started a long time ago when I was pursuing my MBA, or even before that, but I'll come back the backstory after that. But when I was working, when I was studying my MBA, I wanted to start something of my own,
Right.
because job, to be honest, never fascinated me that much, but it was an unexplored area for me. But I always wanted to build something of my own. I mean, just the joy of creating something has always fascinated me. So I always wanted to take up something and build something of my own. So now to fly tea is because my family background is in tea. I have a family business in tea manufacturing.
Okay.
Coming from Assam, I know the product tea as a product. I know it very intrinsically. So that was the so when I thought of building something of my own, I thought of what do you take to the people? That's the first question. What do you sell, or what do you service to people? So the natural thought that came to me was maybe tea, because this is something that I know, and also from customer reviews, or from just reviewing my friends, etc., talking to my friends, etc., I came to know that they are not getting the good quality tea that they aspire, that they want to have from Assam. Like, people who have visited to Assam have got a chance to consume tea there, and which is very different than what is currently available in the market. So I saw an opportunity there, and then another huge opportunity was there's no brand which people relate to in the tea industry. Like, if I draw similarities from the coffee business, so there's Starbucks is a brand which has a high brand recall, or people connect with. So looking at tea, there are, like, of course, traditional brands, but there was no new age brand which resonated with people, or connected with people, not just for the product but for the brand itself. So that was the driving force behind creating a brand identity, to which we are able to connect to people. So coming up with the brand name, with the brand logo, with the brand colors, the entire brand messaging, everything. So it was quite a journey to come up with all of this, putting everything together. And I do like to the groundwork. I mean, I somehow learned how to build a website. I tried to build my own website somehow. And then I learned about logistics, etc., everything, looking at other brands, looking at Amazon, etc., how they ship their products, what is the margin, everything had to be figured out. And then tea, like for the products also, like we manufacture only the regular tea, but then we needed more varieties of teas. So that is something that I experimented at home, tasted myself, added spices, tasted it, and then came up with a blend which I thought that people would like, which fortunately they have. So that's how it started, and then
Nice.
gradually we have put together a lot of things in last. If I talk about like from my MBA times, it's now almost 5 to 6 years journey now.
Damn, that's a long journey to cover. But yeah, like it's really nice to hear the concept, because I think whenever you are coming from a passionate place, like you're from Assam and you seemed to be really knowledgeable about this product, so that somehow really ties into a good brand journey in itself. But yes,
Yeah.
one follow-up question. So where did you learn to build your website? Because even I've
So
had an experience around it, so I just wanted to know, like, if we align on this one.
it's very simple answer. YouTube. I think YouTube was the go-to place to watch videos and understand. So the platforms like Wix, etc., are very easy nowadays to you can just build it like a presentation. So learned it from YouTube and then built it
On Wix, right?
on Wix. Yeah.
Yes. Even I've used Wix, because I think it's like the most easy platform out there.
Awesome.
Plus, it provides you like a good interface layout and everything. So yes. All right. That was really good to hear about, like, the whole journey. I'll move on to the to another question now, which is basically around the key takeaways that you have received when it comes to balancing your side hustle and a full-time job. Like, how do you exactly find that sweet spot? And like, just tips around thriving in this, because again, like, it's amazing, but it obviously has days where you have to, like, really put yourself out there. So what are your tips to thrive in this landscape in gig economy, and what are your takeaways when it comes to balancing these two, like a full-time job and your own venture?
Yeah. So I think the biggest takeaway is patience. Like you need to be very or highly have patience, lot of patience, as you when you decide to take up this journey of juggling two things. So there will be times when you have to, because your side hustle can be on demand. Your
Right.
job is maybe more of a routine, but your side hustle can be on demand. Like if you're receiving a call or a client or anything, so that to respond to then and there. So that could be on demand. So my go-to thing was a routine, having a routine. If you are having say a job of 10 to 5, then maybe putting out some hours in the morning or in the evening whenever you're comfortable. That helps, at least putting a couple of hours every day, getting into a routine and not juggling around, because this will make you juggle around, and your challenge is not to juggle around. I mean, you need to put it into a routine. It can't be like you're working half hour today in your side hustle, and then 2 days later you're working another half an hour or putting another 15 minutes some other day. So that's not how it's going to work, or it will increase your stress, etc. Right? So you need to have a routine to it. Put it
Right.
into a routine. If you think that you can put in half an hour every day, then start with that. Just put half an hour every day. Mark it a time either in the morning or in the night, evening, whenever you feel right. Just put that half an hour there every single day, and do all that is pending in that time, or all that you have planned in that time. If you want to meet someone, do a client meeting, give them that hour, that this is the half an hour window. Is this time feasible for you? Can we talk at this time? So that will help. I mean, putting time to it will also give you a lot of progress, because constantly you will be able to see progress if you are putting even half an hour daily.
Okay.
And also it will put less stress on you in terms of time management and managing everything, because if you're working in a job, if you think that okay, I've found half an hour now at this time, should I work on my side hustle or should I put it into my work at my job? So
Right.
that will be difficult, to juggle that out. So just
Right.
demarcate a time, feasible time for yourself, and whatever suits you, and just follow it diligently. I think that will help you navigate.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And from your, like, the whole takeaways that you are sharing, I also feel like somehow is it important to create that boundary, because you are talking about having a very specific time demarcated for your hustle. You are talking about having that routine, so that also takes into picture, like, saying no to plans, let's say, or telling your client that you are not available after this very set time. So somehow that boundary, like boundary setting and
Yeah.
expectation setting, is also coming into picture. But
Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
makes a
And
lot.
then you can like understand if your job is like demanding late hours, then you put in a time in the morning for your side hustle, right? So that is just being a bit smart about, so that your side hustle, half an hour that you have put for your side hustle doesn't go for a toss every day. I mean, if you have put it at 6 p.m. in the evening, and you know that your job is always demanding you to work till 7 and 8, then that 6 p.m. time won't work for you. It will always go for a toss. So it's
Right.
always good to, take a step back and find a time which is more suitable and it doesn't go for a toss. Like plans or other plans or anything, like apart from job, if you have other plans with your friends or whatever,
Yeah.
to choose a time that doesn't go for a toss, at least not for 5 days a week. Maybe 2 days could be an exception, but at least 5 days a week it doesn't go haywire.
Yes, gonna take that suggestion to a personal level, because I feel like this is something I've not developed, but it's very much important to stay consistent. But yes, amazing takeaways and amazing insights from you. And like, everything has come out really great and the conversation has been really rich. I just want to have chai now because we have talked
Okay.
about Bluebird. So where do we order? Like, does your website allow us to place an order, or like, because I'm not getting amazing chai out here in Gurgaon, so I'm
Yeah.
just gonna fetch one order from your website after we are done with this episode. So yes, tell
Yeah,
me
you can
about that.
definitely order from our website. We are also available on Amazon, if that is more easier for people to order. So that's why we are also available on Amazon. You can just search Bluebird Tea and you will find us there on Amazon. As simple as that, and you can get very quickly delivered to a doorstep, and all the amazing flavors that we have.
Okay, which flavor would you recommend if I'll just like asking for a friend, if someone just has to order like very promptly, what flavor would you suggest?
Our bestseller is the masala chai. So that is, I think, bestseller. So yeah, I'll recommend that.
Yeah, gonna go for that one then. But yes, it was amazing having you here, Nishant, and thanks for bringing so many good things to talk about. And thanks for everyone watching. So we'll be signing out. But yes, hope you got a lot of insights out of this conversation to carry forward. And also, I also hope that this somehow does act as a nudge for you to take that first step towards what you want to do and something that you want to build, like something of your own or something with some place else you want to work. So yes, super great. Bye, Nishant.
Bye, Vedika. Thank you.
Thank you.